Alright, so I was feeling creative and thought I would make an update to the video that I made almost a year and a half ago now on my Sythis commander deck. I've got some new cards in it, and yeah, so I'm just going to go through it just like the last video. Link will be into the description, and I have over 100 cards in the considering section of the deck list if you're looking for budget considerations or weird enchantments from throughout Magic's history that you could play. So, these are the 99 that I've chosen for this deck. First off, the commander needs no introduction. Sythis draws cards. I also have all of the other good enchantresses in here, being Sythis, Mesa, Eidolon of Blossoms, Enchantress's Presence, Verduran Enchantress, Argothian Enchantress, and Satyr Enchanter. Yeah, they draw cards in tandem. They make all of your enchantments draw 2, 3, 4 cards when you play them. Up next is going to be our mana ramp / get lands package. So, got Font of Fertility. It's a new one, just like Wayfarer's Bauble, but an enchantment. So, it's great. Omen of the Hunt, Overgrowth, Wolf Willow Haven, another new one, Fertile Ground, Utopia Sprawl, and Wild Growth. Just good ways to mana ramp, enchant your lands, make them tap for extra, or go get lands in certain cases. And then we have, as well, we have one Mana Dork, Sanctum Weaver. I still don't have enough money for a Serra Sanctum, so Sanctum Weaver is here, and makes a lot of mana if left unchecked. So if you're ever playing against a Sythis deck, remove this. Then I got the classic 3 1-mana green and white lands cards. Now these aren't ramp cards because they all require you to meet certain conditions in order for them to be ramp cards. All the other ones that I just showed make mana no matter what. While as these, you need to either have extra lands in your hand and have your opponents play lands, or just play extra lands for turn, or in Landtax's case, have someone else be ramping, or you miss your land drop, which is possible. I'm only playing 34 lands in this deck now. I had like 37 the last time I filmed this, and I've cut it down just because you hit your land drops pretty consistently. Land tax might get cut in the future. Again, if you don't have the money for these cards, you're happy to swap them out for other budget things. Onto our removal section. I have a friend call this deck Green-White Control, just because it's very good at removing your opponent's permanents. So I've got Seal of Primordium and Seal of Cleansing. It's basically the same card. Out of Time and Quarantine Fuel are still the board wipes of the deck. I've got On Thin Ice, Cast Out, Grasp of Fate, Song of the Dryads, Darksteel Mutation, and Kenrith's Transformation. Just great ways to remove permanents, turn them into useful things, or useless things rather, and really just control the flow of the game. Up next we have, speaking of controlling the flow of the game, we have the cards that slow down the game. So this is stuff like Authority of the Consuls, Root Maze, Soul Snare, Righteous Aura, Ghostly Prison, Light Minefield, Sphere of Safety, Smothering Tithe, and Karmic Justice. New ones from last time, Righteous Aura. Righteous Aura is a great card. You can pay 2 life and 1 white mana to prevent all damage from a single source, so really good against Voltron-style decks. And Light Minefield as well is still amazing. It is symmetrical, so you have to be careful about attacking other people with lots of creatures, but really prevents the go-wide decks from punishing you. Root Maze is also symmetrical, so be careful of that. Alright, up next is our protection package. We have All-Seed of Life's Bounty as just a one-off protection creature. I did pick up a Greater Oromancy, so I do have that now. Privileged Position, Sterling Grove, Heroic Intervention, Sigarda, and Avacyn. Just really great ways to protect our permanents from getting removed, and yeah. Greater Oromancy I actually won. I did very well in an RCQ. I got top 4 playing Pioneer, and the store was giving out money in store credit. So it was pretty far away, and I wasn't about to like leave and come back and spend the credit later. So I was like, all right, I got to spend it now, and got a Greater Oromancy out of it. So up next we have the hate cards. So these are cards that just like hate on specific strategies, or you can put them on opponents. Right? We've got Overwhelming Splendor, Stony Silence, Aura of Silence, Ground Seal, Ashes of the Abhorrent, Elish Norn, and Archon of Valor's Reach. New ones being Alish Norn and Archon, just two other big creatures. I wanted a couple more just big threats to play later in the game, and they also put in a lot of work. Archon is awesome to shut down instants or sorceries or planeswalkers. Alish Norn shrinks creatures while making yours larger. Ash is another piece of graveyard hate that doesn't necessarily turn off my graveyard interaction where I can pick up stuff out of the graveyard. So, and it's a nice bit of life gain as well. All right, onto the small tutor package. It's still the same 3 cards: Idyllic, Enlightened, and Eladamri's Call. These two go get enchantments. I don't have any artifacts in the deck, and then this one can get creatures and is made better now that I've added a couple more big fat creatures to the deck. And onto the like value / card draw. We don't really need a lot in this section because all of our enchantments, they draw a card on them if we're playing the game right. But we do have 4 cards here. Mirror's Guile and Sylvan Library. Calyx, I've put Calyx in over the Gold Border Replenish that I have. I swap them out if I'm like playing with people who are cool with it. And Flickering Ward, I tried Whipsilk and Flickering Ward, but Whipsilk was a little bit harder to play and not as useful as the protection of this is. So the idea with Flickering Ward is that you play it for white mana to draw a card with an Enchantress, and then pay a white to pick it up, and then pay white to play it again, drawing a card each time. So you can do that as many times as you have 2 white open, which allows you to draw a lot of cards when you need to. And moving on to the win conditions as our last section before we get to the lands. I've got 1 Aura, Ancestral Mask, just to kill somebody with, Luminarch, Ascension, Sigil of the Empty Throne, Hallowed Haunting, Sandworm Convergence, Destiny Spinner, and Approach of the Second Sun. So there's a couple ways we can win the game with tokens. New one being Hallowed Haunting. This card is awesome. Approach of the Second Sun is a nice way to win the game, just very cleanly, and with a big aura or a giant creature like Destiny Spinner or Ancestral's Mask. And moving on to the lands, if I can find them, they're right here. We still have the same amount of basics. I have 9 snow-covered forests and 10 snow-covered islands. I did cut down on 1 snow-covered island, but I think it'll be fine. And we have 2 modal dual-facing cards in our land base as well. Still Balagad Recovery and Amiri's Call. Super useful, but also lands on the backside, so can't complain. And then in terms of just regular lands, we've got all of these ones. They're not super exciting, so just gonna kind of throw them out there for everyone to get a look at. I did add Temple of Plenty in there just because I had one laying around and I think it's a cool card and it's on theme for the deck. So that is it. Once again, the deck list will be in the description. Please check it out on Moxfield and check out the considering section down there to see all of the cards that you could throw in your build. So leave a comment, see what cards I could add or take out or what your thoughts are, and I appreciate it. Thanks.